Hello guys, welcome to another video series with Nishant. And in this video, we're going to learn how to use machine learning and then find out whether we have a spam or we have a regular messages in our email. So this will be around 2 to 3 episodes long, maybe. Not sure. So let's get started, Nishant.
Hello guys, welcome to the code conversation on machine learning. I really like to jump on the topic. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna use Gmail API in order to retrieve all of my emails to my PyCharm, and I'm gonna pass in those emails to my machine learning models, which we're gonna create right now, and I'm gonna check whether all of those emails were ham or spam. If you guys don't know what ham is, I'm not talking about food over here. Ham is just a fancy way of saying not spam. So I'd like to show you guys what our final project is gonna look like before we start coding out. So see all of this code over here. I'm gonna run it. This thing is running like in 5,000 instances of the data, so it's gonna take a time to run this depending upon the speed of the processor. If you're in GPU, then it's gonna be real quick, but I'm in CPU, so it's gonna take a while.
It's taking a lot of time.
Yeah, it's taking a lot of time because it's training on more than 5,000 data. So
And the data is available all offline, right?
no, you're gonna have to visit the site like Kaggle.com or UCI Machine Learning Repository in order to access the data. You can keep those links. I think those links can be kept in the in the description down below.
Okay.
The
No, what
place
I
where
mean,
you can.
like, is this thing accessing data offline or is it taking data real time from the online sources?
I'm using the Gmail API. So what Gmail API allows us to do is it directly allows us to access to my account, and it allows us to take whatever email is in my inbox over here.
Okay, no, I was talking about the test data. You surely
Oh,
need
this data,
API
this
to,
data.
yeah.
Oh, this data is coming from my email. This is my email inbox.
What I'm saying is test data, testing data. I'm sorry, not testing data, the test set or what is it, training set maybe?
Oh, you're talking about this?
Yeah,
Oh, this data?
yeah.
What is not this data? Oh, this comes from online, yeah, UCI machine learning repository, or you can find this on Kaggle.com.
Okay.
Right, so you see over here, guys, these are all my bunch of emails over here, and everything is ham right now except this one. I don't know why this one is reading spam. It is reading spam because our machine learning model is only 95% accurate over here, as you can see this. So that might be the reason it might have said spam, but it's still having ham. But our machine learning model is definitely not as better as the Google's machine learning, Google's ham or spam separating machine learning model, because it is training like only on 5,000 data, but Google might have trained the model on more than 1 million data sets. So definitely Google machine learning models outperforms ours. But this is what we're gonna make. If you guys are wondering why I'm getting only 5 emails, then and the reason behind that is I kept only 5 emails over here. Or is that over here? If I change this to 10 or 15, then I get 15 first emails. And if I just remove this number, then I get more than 2,000 emails that is in my inbox. So now I'd like to start coding this up. So uh, I have this spam or ham over here, and I've set up this file. Okay. Spam or ham, I've set up this file. I'm gonna delete all of this file, I guess. No other way. I think I can make a new one. I'm gonna say, let's type in ham. I'm gonna close this, and we're gonna have to make a bunch of imports first. I'm gonna import pandas as PD. Let's import numpy as np. We're gonna have to import nltk as well, and I'm gonna have to import sklearn. So I think this is it. As we go on coding, if we feel like we need to import something, we're gonna import it later on. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and open the data. So I'm gonna say data is equal to pd.read csv, pass in my data name smss. Okay, spam collection. Pass in zip is equal to t, and pass in names is equals to, we'll just give the nice title, messages. Now let's go ahead and print the first 5 instances of the data by running this command, and let's run this. You can see we get the first 5 instances of this data. We can see the label over here. This is ham, this is ham, this is spam, this is ham and ham. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the unwanted stuff in my messages, like all this what do you call, all this punctuation thing, all this stop words like your or had, which has no actual meaning. So I'm going to remove all of these things. So I'm going to write a function to do all of that. So I'm going to make a function text says passing sentence. I think I'm going to have to import from NLTK, import word tokenizer, and I'm going to say sentence equals tokenizer sentence. I'm going to make processed process sentence is equal to blank list for now. I'm going to loop through all the sentences, and I'm also going to have to import string in order to check the punctuation. Import string. I'm going to say if I not in string dot punctuation, and I not in what do you call, if I not in let's import stop words as well. So I'm going to say from nltk dot corpus stop words, not in stop words dot words pass in English, because we're doing everything in English. Then I'm going to say process and dot append I, and at the last I'm going to return dot join sentences. This is basically going to remove all the unwanted punctuation and what do you call, all the stop words. So let's try to print the stop words first. Let's see that. I want to show you guys what stop words is. Let's print the stop words. Let's run this. Not loaded yet. Oops, I forgot to write this over here. Here we go. These are the kind of words which have no meaning, like I, me, my, myself. These are the things which has no meaning in it. So we're gonna remove all of this from our what do you call, from our data. So this function will basically do this. Now the thing is, after removing all of these things, now we need to convert all of the processed word into vectors, because we cannot feed in directly words to our computer, because word means nothing to our computer, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change all of these words into vectors. So in order to do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say from sk learn dot feature extraction dot text. I'm going to say import count vectorizer. This is going to convert into count. This is going to convert our data messages into the vectors. And I'm going to also make from sklearn dot.
Is it that the stop words, it's not important only in checking whether it's ham or spam, or is it like a general rule, like whenever we analyze any natural text, uh, is it compulsory that we skip all the stop words? or is it just for?
Actually, I showed you guys what stop words is. Stop words is basically this kind of meaning, this kind of words, right? In myself, we are. This means nothing, right? These are just pronouns or some, some of the words that means nothing in the real world, right? It's not actual verb or it's not actual noun, right? So we're gonna remove all of this thing.
Because I was thinking of few sentences that could sound like spam, but not really a spam. Like for example, and where the stopwords would could have a real meaning. For example, I write you one email saying, "Hey, Nissan, I won a lottery, and then
Okay.
I've got like 50,000 cash in my pocket now.
Okay.
Let's go for a vacation for a week or so." So
I think.
if you just because it
Okay.
doesn't sound like spam, but if you remove the
Mhm.
sub words, now it might sound like spam. Like you have a 50,000 cash, you don't have I and you and everything. If
Uh-huh.
if you skip the stop words, sounds like spam. But if you include it, it doesn't. So is it? No, I was just trying to find out why are we taking this stop word out from the spam and.
We're taking the stop words out of the messages just to ensure that we're not giving a lot of load to the model. We're just eliminating the unwanted words so that we'll be computer is not distracted by this kind of words. That is why we're removing stop words. But I think we should try whatever you have said after building our model. I think we should pass the sentence in our model and let's see whether our model predicts spam or ham.
That'll be
That'll
interesting.
be a good. That'll be interesting. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create an instance of a counter vectorizer and path in analyzer as our what we call text process in order to implement the function text process in all of our data we got. And uh, okay, I think I should import trendless split. And let me quickly say capital X is equal to what do you call data messages messages. I'm just trying to ensure that I do not make any silly spelling errors. Data level, and I've created the instance of count vectorizer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna fit this. So let's say uh,
So why has the list of all the whether it's spam or ham, and then has all the messages from our data
yeah,
set?
yeah. Now we're gonna convert a whole bunch of these messages into vectors, into a whole large matrices. All
Okay.
right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say x is gonna be cv dot. Let's do feed transform, and I'm gonna pass in x again. All right, I'm gonna pass in x, and I'm gonna what else?
What
I think
what
this
does
is
that
it.
what does the feed transform do here?
This I'm making the instance of count vectorizer. Now this thing is saying that now the CV is all ready to transform the words into vectors. This is what this line 26 is saying, and now we're actually converting the vectors in line 27.
Okay. So can I understand this in this way? Like so we have a natural language, and
Okay, okay.
asking vectorizing it is trying to convert it in the format that would be easy for computer to understand. Is it something?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Converting everything to numbers so computers can make sense of whatever messages we have.
Okay.
All right. So next thing we need to do is, I think we're done over here. Now, next thing we should do is uh, train, test, train is equal to trying to split, pass in x, pass in y, pass in 0.2. And now I'm going to import one more thing. I'm going to say from sklearn dot is import multinomial NV. Again, you can use whatever. If you have the previous experience with machine learning, then there are a bunch of machine learning algorithms for the classification, like support vector machine, random forest, logistic regression. You can use whatever you want. Right now I'm going to be using multinomial NV because I think while I read a couple of articles, they said that multinomial NV is kind of suitable for categorizing the emails into ham and spam. So I'm going to use multinomial NV. But if you guys want to play with this, then you can try some other machine learning algorithms and see what the results going to be. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the instance of
Okay, Nissan, can we talk a little on the line number 13? Like, what are these
line
arguments?
number
Something new to
line
me.
number line
Try
number 31.
0 0.2, the last argument.
Okay, I got it. Okay, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna finish this and tell you what we're actually doing. Okay, what this line is saying is that machine learning is all about first first feeding the both input data and the output data to the computer model, and training that data on training our model on those data, and finally introducing new data the model has never seen and trying to predict the accuracy of our model. So what this is saying is that 80% of the data will be used to 80% of this data will be used to train the model, but other 20% will be separated. They will not be introduced to our model unless the model is completely trained, and this 0.20% of the data will be used to test the accuracy of our model. Are you getting me?
Not that much. Let me tell you what I understood. So we have,
Okay.
we have a data which is 100%, and we're going to use
Okay.
of the data to train our
Model, right.
model.
Right now, in order to test how the model did, we're gonna have to introduce the data which machine has never seen before, right? So
Yeah.
it's gonna separate the 20% data from here, right? It's not gonna use the 20% of the data while training the model, and only when after the model is trained, it's gonna introduce those 20% data and calculate the accuracy.
Oh, okay. I got the point. Now,
You got
so
the point,
what
right?
we're going to do is we're going to make it sound like as if the 20% of the data was never there in the training set, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Once we
yeah. It's exactly like for the model we're training. It's exactly like there was no 20%. This 20% of the data is
Okay.
exactly like that. Yeah,
This is
machine
more
is never
like,
gonna see this 20%
yeah, so this is
of
more
the
like
data.
to understand if our training model actually works or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
This is
right.
also
If our
how
model
I
works or
think
not.
we'll find out the accuracy of our.
Yeah, we're gonna do that later on. Right. Yeah. So now, and this 0.2 you got what 0.2 is, right? And this is the training set, this is the result, and this is training set. I suggest you guys do not, you can pass in 0.1 or 0.3, but I suggest you guys do not go more than 0.3, because if you go more than 0.3, then you are not actually having enough data for the model to train to give you some actual result, to give you accurate result. So do not go more than 0.3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say clf dot fit. I'm going to pass in xtrain. I'm going to pass in ytrain, and I'm going to pass in prediction is equal to clf dot predict, pass in what do you call x test, and from escalon.metrics import confusion metrics and classification report. I'm also going to say accuracy is equal to what was it, clf dot score, clf dot score, pass in x test, y test, clf dot score. All right, x test and y test. Now let's see, everything should be okay, I guess. Oh, hang on, it's not. Sorry about that. It should be y test and. All right, let's see, this gonna work or not. I think everything should be fine now. I created vectorizer. So I'm going to scheme you. I'm going to make you guys again understand what is happening from the beginning. First, we open up the data. After that, first we see the first 5 instances of the data, and I can just comment this out for now, I think. And we create a function in order to process the data. After that, we separate the message and label into X and Y. After that, I created count vectorizer. After that, I created the instance of our classifier, and I transform our messages into vectors. And after that, I split the data into X and Y. And after that, I fitted the data. Okay, feed transform. After that, I fitted the data. Okay, y train prediction GLF and print accuracy. Let's see this is gonna work or not.
Can we go through line number 32, 33, and 34, because I
Okay.
sense of what that
Okay.
are doing. Yeah.
Okay. Line number 32 is using the mathematical, multinomial and v now to predict, right? Because count vectorizer is just giving us a data that is suitable for the computer. Count vectorizer is not predicting anything. What this line is doing is that it is fitting the data according to the algorithm of multinomial and v, and it is predicting the data using multinomial and v machine learning algorithm.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is it. I think I'm gonna run it. Finger crossed, guys. Let's see if it's gonna work or not. It's taking a bunch of time. Here we go. Will not convert string to float ham. Which number is that? Line 34. Yeah, I knew there was some error with CLF.score. What was it? Let's do this thing then. And classification report. Pass in the y test. Pass in prediction. Print confusion. Matrix y test. Let's run this one more time.
What are we printing right now?
Okay, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna tell you after if this gets printed properly.
What do we have in these 4 arguments? I mean, like 4 variables: the X test, Y test, and then 2 more in there, right?
Oh, over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Over here, you know what I told you in the beginning. Remember, first of all, in order to train the machine learning. Okay, let's see. Here we go. In order to train the machine learning model, what the first step is, separating our data into training pieces and testing pieces. You got that point, right? So what we're doing is X is the input. X is this input. This message over here is the input. But we also, while testing our data, while training our data, we also need to keep the output of those messages, right? We need to tell the computer whether it is ham or spam, right? So this is what Y is.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
First, we're showing both the result as well as the output as well as input to the computer. And later on, we're just giving the data which computer has never seen before, and we're making our model predict whether it is ham or spam. All right. And what this is saying is classification report is what this is saying is that right now our accuracy is 96% over here. And this is saying is that this is the total number of error we got from 0.2% of the data. You remember the 0.2% of data from here? This is false positive and this is false negative, and these two are the correctly predicted data by our model. Okay, this is false positive, this 31 is false positive, and this 17 is false negative.
Okay.
It's making sense now, right?
Yeah.
Now I think we should try with your sentence, I think. Right? Okay.
Did we also see the? I didn't see the accuracy of the.
Oh, accuracy, we saw accuracy over here. 96%, 0.96.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
our model is 96% accurate right now, and so it is just giving the error margin of 4%, and this is the total number of false positive. False positive means the data were not positive in actual, but our model predicted it to be positive, and this is false negative, which means the data is actually negative, but our model predicted is as positive.
And what about the F1 score for ham and spam? Does that mean that it detected the ham with 0.98 accuracy and then the
Yeah,
spam
right.
with
Right. So it is showing more error in spam. It is showing more error while detecting the spam, because that is pretty intuitive, because there are not a lot of spam data in our data set. So this is the reason why it is showing us a more error in the what do you call in the spam portion. If you go
we
over here,
that by just having a larger data set, right?
yeah, yeah, if you have like the big companies like Google or Microsoft, they probably train their model on more than 1 million or 2 million data set. I was watching a YouTube video where a guy who made the TensorFlow was talking about Google project of Inception or something like that, where it can identify any object, image of any object given to it, and they train that model on 3 million pictures. 3 million pictures, can you believe that? 3 million pictures, and it took them 2 days, 2 entire days, with a computer running on 8 CPU to you know completely train the data.
That's a massive data, right?
Yeah, 2 million pictures is not a joke, man. It's a lot. So I think we should now try with your sentence and try to see whether it's going to give us correct data or not. So what was the sentence?
What was it? Maybe hey Nishant, I
Hey Nishant,
I won a lottery,
I won a lottery.
and I have 50,000 cash in my pocket.
I have, okay,
Okay, yeah,
dollar 50,000.
pocket. I'm trying to add these stop words, uh,
Okay,
obviously like my, I, and then so
got
that
it,
so
got it, got it.
it's okay. So now the thing is, what's the other sentence? Do you want to go? Do you want to go
To
on vacation?
on a vacation. That's it.
Vacation with me. Let's add more stop words
With me
for 2 weeks.
for 2 weeks. That's it.
Yeah. Does this
Okay.
sound like spam to you when you read it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. This sounds like 50-50.
Oh,
This sounds like 50-50.
oh,
But probably I think this is gonna get categorized as spam, because whenever machine learning algorithm sees 50,000 and lottery, probably this is gonna get categorized as spam.
oh, okay.
All right, let's see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to transform this into vertical vectors again. So I'm gonna say cv dot transform data, and data, I think it should be dot to array, and I'm gonna say predicals clf dot predict what do you call vec. Oh, it should be vec. I'm sorry about that. Vec, and let's print prediction. Then you can comment this out now. Let's see. Data, okay, to array. Let's try to run this. It's gonna take a while again, because there's one feature in Keras. If you guys are familiar with using Keras, then there's one feature in Keras where you can save the model. So whenever you run the program, you need not train the model every time. So yeah,
And that it makes sense. Until and unless you have different data set every time, why just train it each and every time, right? So you just
yeah,
have.
right, yeah.
Hmm. It actually looks like spam to me. like food win.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, yeah. Probably lottery and let's see, spam.
That's
It categorized as spam.
no. I just trying to think. Can't we have a regular messages where we have words like lottery and 50,000, but that also doesn't look like spam? It's possible.
Lottery and
Would it categorize
okay,
that into that?
okay. I think I can make it. I think I can make it. Let's see. I'm gonna say, uh, hey Roshan,
Okay.
uh, congrats. Uh, got the job offer where your annual salary will be $50,000.
Okay.
Let's go with 60. All right, $60,000. All right, let's see. And I just thought of a cool project where you guys can do. In the last in the previous video, we made a code conversation on Django, and we made right now we made code conversation on machine learning. What you can do is you can integrate Django and this thing. You can make a basic application where you make a simple user interface, allowing the user to type in some text, and you just include the submit button. And let's say you can just make an application where if whenever the user presses, the message will be passed to your model, and it checks whether the message is spam or not. And if the message is spam, then you can display the, if the message is not spam, then you can display the message in your front end UI. Otherwise, you can just alert saying the message is spam, and the message is spam, it cannot be added. That will be a cool project to do, right? Integrating both machine learning as well as Django.
Yeah, and also, I think there'll be a lot of learning while integrating two different.
Yeah, right. Yeah, while integrating two different things, yeah, there will be a lot of learning while you know doing doing two different things together.
So, did we
Let's
get
see.
the result?
You got a spam. You got a spam.
Okay.
It is actually what do you call it? It is actually uh, not a spam. I think this is spam, but it is,
Yeah.
but um,
Maybe it's because I don't understand how the these things train the data, but just looking at how just looking at the output, it seems much the processes and everything is done in much easier way, maybe because just detecting 60,000 is just easy job, like few lines of code without any of these things, right? Just find out the numbers and then see how many numbers and then what values we have, and then check for few
yeah.
words.
Yeah, we can definitely increase the accuracy of this thing by coding the neural nets. Again, by using the deep learning, this is gonna be more accurate. And if you have more data, probably 20,000 or 30,000 data, then this is gonna be more accurate. Unless we have the access to those data, I think that'll be the limitation of this model. But we can definitely increase the accuracy by coding this on neural net by using the deep learning. And if you guys want us to code this on what do you call it, do the same thing using the neural nets by using Keras with TensorFlow as the backend, then you can just reach out to us or comment down below in the video, and we're gonna make the video doing the exact same thing using the neural network.
Yeah,
So in this video, we made a model and we successfully pass the data to detect whether it is ham or spam. And the next video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the Gmail API in order to get all of my emails in my PyCharm and in my system or whatever. And I'm gonna make a list. I'm gonna make a array where I store a bunch of emails, and I'm gonna look through those array and pass in those. What do you call passing those elements of the array into our machine learning model, and get the results. So that's what we're gonna do in the next video. So guys, stay tuned for that.
yeah. All right. So this is amazing. Like few more minutes, I like 20 25 minutes, and then we are able to make a program where we can detect
Yeah,
whether it's a
spam or ham. Yeah,
ham.
spam or ham. Yeah, you can definitely tweak around this project. You can use something else, machine learning algorithm, something else, logic regression or SVM, and you can code the same thing with deep learning. Just play around with a bunch of algorithms, the built-in algorithms they have, and see how our results comes in.
Okay, sure. So in the next video, like Nishan said, we'll be integrating the Gmail API or Google API. I don't know.
Yeah, Gmail API. Yeah.
yeah, Gmail API, and then see if we can do a similar thing with the emails that we have in our account, right? So thank you so much, Nishant, for this wonderful session, and I hope everybody learned a lot from this. Personally, I learned a lot, like always, from all of your tutorials or discussions or whatever we call it, right? So see you guys in the next episode of Coding Conversation with Nishant, using ML and then finding a ham or spam in the Gmail. See you guys. Bye bye.